Do you know why your nudibranch photos are blurry? Or have you ever experienced that you can't capture the details in your photo, or you have an underexposed or even overexposed shot, or even you have uneven lighting in your image? So today I'm gonna talk about and show you the 5 most common beginner mistakes that you do in macro photography. So these are mistakes that I have done myself, and they're just part of the journey of learning underwater macro photography. So by the end of this video, you will clearly understand what causes these blurry images or exactly how to fix them. So let's get started. So first we have mistake number 1, and that's shooting from too far away. So most new underwater macro photographers I see, they tend to come up from a distance. They zoom in on the camera to get a closer look on the camera, and they shoot. This can be a good approach to keep the reef into consideration, but when we shoot macro photography or underwater macro photography, we want to get really close up and personal with our macro subject. So this is why your buoyancy is crucial when you shoot underwater macro photography. So if you don't trust your buoyancy yet, I recommend to maybe find a different subject that has a little bit more room for you to get closer without accidentally hurting the reef. But instead of coming up from a distance and zoom on the camera, it's better to zoom with your body first, come close up with your camera, and then we start to zoom in on the camera to just fine tune your image where we fill up the subject on the frame. What this does, the water in between your subject and your camera absorbs the light, and if you have a big distance, a lot of this light, the details, the colors, they disappear before they reach your camera. So when we get really close up, we're able to capture all these tiny details, the colors, the contrast, and you're able to make your nudibranch pop much better. So start, zoom with your body, and then fine tune with your camera. And this will bring out as much details as possible. Mistake number 2 is incorrect torch angle. And here I see a lot with new underwater macro photographers. When they take a shot or they use their dive torch, they usually just shine it in a general direction of the nudibranch. And what this do is that it might give you very uneven lighting. You might have hot spots or dark areas where you don't really want them. And it can just make the whole photo fall flat with the colors. Instead, we have to make use of all the light, the very limited light that we get from our dive torch. And we want to direct the light from the top. And here we can bring out as much details and highlight the area where we actually want the viewer's eyes to look. In this case, it's usually the rhinophores or the eyes of your subject. So we come in close with our dive torch, and even if we have a slight distance from your camera, you can still bring down your dive torch very close up, so it's still out of the view, and we shine it on the rhinophore, and we focus on the rhinophore as well, and we shoot. So in this way, we make the best use of our dive torch to bring out as much details so that water doesn't absorb all the information and colors and contrast that we want. So do this and you will be able to make your photo properly pop. Common mistake number 3, this is the wrong focus point. So when we shoot really close up macro photography, our focus area gets really, really narrow, and it's very easy to get a big portion of your subject out of focus, making it harder for the viewer to connect to your shot while they look at the image. And this happens very easily if you just point and shoot with your camera and you don't really pay attention where you want the focus at. So in most cases, we usually want to focus on the rhinophore or the eye of your subject, and this usually gives the best visual connection to your image. And by coming really close up with your camera, you fill up the frame, you point your focus point on the rhinophore. That's also where you will be using your dive torch close up from above and shine on. When you shoot like this, you will bring out the most details and get a really sharp image that's beautiful to watch. And then we have common mistake number 4, and that's having the wrong camera settings on your TG camera. And having the wrong settings usually give you very dark or underexposed photos, or they might give you very bright and overexposed images, or you might be able to focus and lock in on one subject, but when you're moving over to a different one, your camera can't focus properly. All of this comes down to our settings. So you might have heard about the ISO, the aperture, shutter speed, EV compensation. All of these are part of what we call the exposure triangle, and understanding the basics of the exposure triangle is crucial for you to be able to adjust and get proper lighting and details from your image to capture a sharp, colorful photo underwater. So having right settings are really important, especially when we're shooting with a dive torch. Here we have just the bare minimum of light. So we need to be able to bring out the most from our camera to capture a beautiful shot. If you shoot with a strobe, for example, we use completely different settings on your camera. So all of this you can learn in our TG online course that we have. So in this TG online course, I will help you step by step from the beginning. So if you can't get your shot in focus, maybe your photo come out very blurry, maybe the colors look a little bit too grayish and green, and maybe even the exposure is too dark or too bright. Maybe you don't know where to position your dive torch, or even what strobe angles to use, or even how to compose your beautiful shot. That's why I designed this course for you, to make sure that you can consistently capture clear, colorful, and sharp images. I'm leaving the link below for the course where you can sign up. And then last, we have common mistake number 5, and that's poor composition. So without the right composition, it doesn't matter how well you use the correct settings or the right distance and light while focusing on the rhinophore or the eye of your nudibranch. It's very common that we start to shoot from the top down when you start to shoot underwater macro photography. And this is a good way if you want to have an idea of your nudibranch, but it's very common and very easy that your nudibranch fall flat or it blends in with the background a little bit too easily. So it can be hard to make it pop out from the image. Same goes that if you're shooting, it's very easy that you start to overcrop, where you start to remove a lot of the corners so you fill up your nudibranch in your photo. This will take away a lot of the details and quality of your shot. So we don't want to crop so much while we shoot. It's better to just get it right in the camera or close to right to start with, because it will preserve all the details and quality of our image. Otherwise, very common is that you might get a butt shot, we call them, that you come from the behind and you take a photo. That's usually where you can see the gills, but it's usually better and recommended to come more from the front instead, because that's usually where you have the facial traits and where it's easier to connect to your nudibranch. Otherwise, it's very common that you might find a subject with a very messy background. In this case, if you're coming a little bit more from the side, you have a lot of corals and maybe seaweed growing behind it, and it's taking away too much of your attention while looking at the photo. In those cases, it's better to, can you turn around a different angle? So that's why I usually recommend, before you go down, have a look and see how does the scene look like, what direction is the nudibranch headed towards. Come down to the subject's eye level, and here we get down close and personal. We bring our dive torch a little bit from the top, shining down on the rhinophores. In this case, we make sure we focus on the rhinophore while shooting in aperture priority, while having the proper settings on your TG camera, and we shoot. So here we try to fill up the frame already now as well, where it takes the whole majority of the frame, so we don't have to crop afterward. And this will usually give you a really colorful, sharp image and beautiful to watch. If you want to learn how to take sharp nudibranch photos but don't really know where and how to get started, I have a free nudibranch online workshop just for you. I will guide you through the key steps for capturing clear nudibranch shots, but also quickly help you improve your underwater photography skills. Also, common composition mistakes and how to avoid them. And my personal favorite way to compose nudibranch shots with a live demonstration that comes with it. So I have put the link of the online workshop in the description below. See you inside the nudibranch workshop.